Hi guys, and welcome to the first of our presentations for the CrossFit Open. Bulletproof Bodies wishes you an injury-free CrossFit Open, but just in case, we're going to give you a few little tips on how to stay injury-free over the next 5 weeks. Just remember that injury is the enemy, and the only way you're going to deal with that is to bulletproof your body. So who are we and why are we talking about this? Bulletproof Bodies is an extreme sports physiotherapy company. We're consisting of retired British Army physiotherapists now working in the private sector, and we've been proudly managing CrossFit injuries since our operational tours in Afghanistan in 2010. We've worked at most of the major CrossFit competitions in the UK and Europe for the last 4 years, so we like to think we know our stuff, but we're always learning. Right, over the last 6 years, we've noticed that the neck and shoulders are the #1 area that athletes complain about. Time and time again, obviously WOD dependent, it will be shoulder and neck issues. And these aren't really true shoulder issues. These are more likely niggles, muscle imbalance, a bit of impingement, all stuff that a bulletproof physio can handle and help you with. Remember that CrossFit gets a bad rep, but it's not CrossFit that injures people, it's poor lifting form. So just remember, when you're doing your lifting, make sure that you're lifting with good form, make sure that your midline is stable, and if you get fatigued, then drop the weight, stop what you're doing, reset, focus on your technique. And any coach all over the world will tell you that you want to make sure that your form is good. You don't want to go unbroken with poor form. Yeah, just no rep yourself, be honest. So shoulder anatomy. So the shoulder's not just one joint, it's actually 4. It's got the glenohumeral joint, which is the ball and socket joint that most people think about, and that's like a golf ball on a golf tee. Yeah, huge range of movement the shoulders are capable. They're really mobile, but that makes them unstable. So we talk about rotator cuff stability before we can talk about rotator cuff strength. So the cuff's got to be in the right position in order for the muscles to be firing, then you can train the strength component. If you haven't got your shoulder in the right position to make it stable, you can train strength all day long. It doesn't matter. You're not in that stable position. You're trying to fire a cannon from a canoe. So we've got to look and observe. The first thing we've got to look at is your posture. So this is the typical CrossFit posture. If you train a lot, this is how you're going to be. So forward head posture and rounded shoulders. You can see the scapula elevated. That means that they've come up from loads and loads of Olympic lifting, loads of shrugging movements, and the glenohumeral joint has internally rotated, and this can be seen by the hands coming into that classic barbell holding position, which allows the chest to tighten and the upper traps to also tighten. So having a look at your own posture is going to be really helpful before you start the open. Remember that your posture becomes your structure. If your posture is poor, your movement will be poor. So you've got to practice your posture. And can you maintain good posture and good form under the things that CrossFit's challenging you with, which is speed, load, fatigue, and distance? So let's have a look at how muscles affect posture. So tight pecs are going to tighten the glenohumeral joint and draw it slightly inwards into that internal rotation position. Combining that with the upper trapezius elevating with levator scapulae, and you've got what we call this cross syndrome, where we're tight at the front, weak at the back. So particularly the lower trapezius needs to get some good strength work in the mid trapezius. We don't tend to work those muscles in isolation, but we're going to show you how to do that later. So that's a classic CrossFit posture and musculature. So your body's shaped by how you train. If you're going to do a lot of one particular activity, your body will respond to that. And this internally rotated shoulder position is what I've seen on everyone, no matter what level you are. This upper upper trapezius is too developed, and that's because we do lots and lots of Olympic lifting. It's the shrug movement. So I'm not saying don't do that. All I'm saying is that you've got to balance the trapezius out, in particular the mid traps, which will be very weak on most people. So let's have a look at the scapula. So the trapezius is pulling the scapula into elevation, which means it's upwardly rotating it. 9 times out of 10, your serratus anterior and your lower trapezius are weak. So we've got to train those muscles, otherwise the shoulder's always going to be in that poor position. So the way we're going to train it is with simple isometric holds. All we're going to be doing is holding a position for a certain amount of time, really to gain postural stability, so the muscles know where they should be in that good position. CrossFit's guilty of not training isometrics unless you do the occasional L-sit. I come from a gymnastics background, 15 years of gymnastics, and we train isometric holds a lot because they're important, because you've got to be posturally strong before you can be dynamically strong. So here's what we recommend. 3 minutes of external rotation of the glenohumeral joint with scapular depression, and we'll show you what that looks like in a minute. 2 minutes of holding the press up on the rings or another unstable surface, and 1 minute with a moderately loaded barbell overhead, just locking in that stabilized position so you know where those postures are, particularly when you're under speed, load and fatigue. So here's the first one. 3 minutes in this position. This is going to be a challenge for you. So if you look at these positions, the fingers are rotated away, so they're facing the back of the body. You can do this on the floor, which is a real challenge in the reverse plank position, or if you're hardcore, you can do it on the rings. Just remember, if your form isn't great, you can do 3 lots of 1 minute and you still accumulate that time under tension of 3 minutes. This is the number one thing I recommend. Number 2, 2 minutes in this position. Get yourself an unstable surface, whether it's the rings, whether it's a stability ball, whether it's a basketball or football, doesn't matter. Just get tight and stable in that position. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable in that position. 2 minutes is all you need. It's challenging, just watch that midline. Make sure your glutes are switched on and tight. And then 1 minute in the overhead military position. Okay, just locking out that position. This is tough. Keep that rib cage down, keep that glutes tight. Okay, make sure that pelvis isn't anteriorly tilting, so you're sticking your bum out. Make sure your pelvis is tucked in, everything is locked down. I should be able to come and punch you in the stomach because you're that tight. Just 1 minute in that position. So if you've got any questions about injury, and it's only injury that we're dealing in, we're not dealing with performance as well, come and speak to us at Bulletproof. Okay, that's our Twitter handle, at Bulletproof Physio. Okay, or you can email us at bulletproofbodies1@gmail.com, or check out the website bulletproofbodies.co.uk. It's all free, and we will do our best to return your questions. So finishing off, let's see what Dave has in store for us. I'm excited about 16.1. Hopefully you are too, guys. Stay injury free, bulletproof your body. 3, 2, 1 for injury prevention. I'll see you next time. Bulletproof Physio out.